Students, in this video, I am going to discuss Sturm-Liouville problem. What is the Sturm-Liouville problem? If you see previous examples where generally we are solving this kind of problem, homogeneous Fredholm integral equation of the second kind, this. And in most of the example you have seen this kernel is a separable kernel. This is a separable kernel of generally this kind kernel. That means function is not having branches more than one branch, sorry. Here we have a single branch, single defined function in this range 0 to 1. Similarly, if you will see in the second example, which we have already discussed, this again in this 0 to 2 pi function is a single branch function. Similarly, third example here, again this function is a single branch function in this range 0 to 1. But sometimes we are having more than one branch in the given range. For example, this type of function. So consider the problem. This is homogeneous Fredholm integral equation of second kind, but the kernel is having two branches, cos x sin t in the range 0 to t, where x is the parameter or variable, and cos t and sin x multiply by sin x, where x varies from t to pi. So whenever we have problem of this form, that means whenever our kernel is in the form of branches and equation is a Fredholm integral equation of second kind, then this is equation number star reduces to into differential equation. That means we will not solve this integral equation, rather than we will solve the corresponding in differential equation. So first we will convert this equation into differential equation and then we will solve the problem. And this type of problem is known as Sturm-Liouville problem. Fine. So since this is a Fredholm integral equation and we have already seen that whenever we are having Fredholm integral equation and we are converting this equation into differential equation, then we are having boundary value problem, because we are having fixed limits. That's why this will be a boundary value problem. We will solve that problem and this is known as Sturm-Liouville problem. Fine. So because our ultimate task is what? To find out the solution. And this solution is known as obviously eigenvalues and eigenfunctions. Fine. So let's see how to implement this. So we are taking same problem, this. So here you will see that parameter or variable is t. However, here parameter is x. So we will interchange x and t. When we are substituting the xk xt in this integral, then we will interchange x and t. Fine. So here yx is equals to lambda 0 to, because this in this limit function is this kernel, but kernel is in this form of branches. So here 0 x and t, now x and t are interchanged, so 0 t and x, that means t varies from 0 to x. So this is written here 0 to x. What will be the function? kxt cos t sin x, cos t sin x after interchanging sin and x and t. Then yt dt plus lambda, second branch is x to pi when t varies from x to pi. So t varies from x to pi. What will be the function then? Cos x sin t after interchanging t and x, cos x sin t, cos x sin t yt dt. So this will be the corresponding integral equation after substituting this kernel. Now differentiate with respect to x, not with respect to t, with respect to x, because our function is a function of x. So we are differentiating this, so this will be y dash x is equals to lambda d by dx of this integral plus lambda d by dx of the second integral. Now to simplify this derivative or integral, whenever we are differentiating this integral, we generally apply Leibniz rule. So what was the rule? So this is equal to lambda integral 0 to x. Now we will take this inside the integral and interchange this derivative by partial derivative. So del by del x of this function, this integrand dt, plus now substitute the upper limit here In place of t, substitute upper limit. Upper limit is what? X. So cos x sin x yx. So lambda, this lambda, cos x sin x yx. And now differentiate upper limit with respect to x. So dx by dx. Minus, now substitute lower limit. What is t is equal to 0? So cos lambda cos 0 sin x as it is, y0 d0 by dx. Differentiate lower limit by with respect to x. Plus, similarly apply Leibniz rule here. So lambda x to pi del by del x, this function dt, plus substitute upper limit here. So replace t by pi. So cos x sin pi y pi, and then differentiate this upper limit by with respect to x. So d pi by dx minus, now substitute the lower limit here. So cos x, lambda cos x, then sin x, then yx, and dx by dx. Now this term is cancelled out with this term. Fine. Then here this will be 0 because this is 0 is a constant. So this term will be 0. So that's why this term is 0. Similarly, this term will be 0 because pi is a constant. So this is 0, this is 0. So they are cancelled out. So only left terms are this integral term and this integral term. So we are having this. Fine. Now here lambda, this plus, we are taking this minus inside this bracket, minus sin x. That means this term is here. Now again, because still we are having integrals, this is not the differential equation, because our target is to construct the differential equation, but still there are integrals. So again differentiate and apply Leibniz rule. So here is the second derivative. So apply, differentiate again d by dx of this term minus lambda d by dx. Again apply Leibniz rule. So after applying Leibniz rule, we are having this integral. Fine. This integral as it is, first we partially differentiate, then substitute the upper limit and differentiate the upper limit, minus substitute the lower limit, and then differentiate the with respect to the x lower limit. Similarly the second term. So this is the second term. So after solving this, we are getting this integral, this equation. This is the integral term, this is the upper limit term, this is the lower limit term, this is the second term, then upper limit term, and then its lower limit term. Fine. Now here this is 0. Why this is 0? Because this is a constant. We are differentiating. Similarly, this will be 0. That's why this is 0. So we are having only left terms this and this lambda cos square x and lambda sin square x multiply by yx and yx. So from these two terms we can take lambda yx common. So we are having sin square plus cos square, which is 1. So this is written here. And then this integral is written here. We are taking minus lambda common from here and here. So this is so. Now this integral, if you will see, what is this integral? This integral is your actual yx. This is in this integral form. So equation number 1, according to 1, this integral, the sum of these two integrals is basically yx. So we are replacing this sum by yx. So minus lambda, because lambda is already here, lambda. So that's why. So including this lambda of this term, bracket term, this is nothing but y. So minus of yx plus lambda into this is 1, so lambda yx. So ultimately when you are adding this, so we are getting this minus lambda minus 1 yx. We will take this in the left hand side. So this is equal to 0. So now here, how to solve this problem? So to solve this problem, first we will find out the boundary conditions. Fine. So now here, according to this, boundaries are 0 at 0 and pi. So here first substitute here y at 0. What you will get? Y at 0, this will give you 0 to 0. So when both the limits are same, so ultimately this integral will be 0, because initial and final both points are same. So obviously 0. Now put here y at 0. So this will be 0 to pi cos 0, which is 1, sin t yt. So you will see that when you are substituting x equal to 0, then you have to evaluate this integral. But y is unknown, so that's why this evaluation is not possible, because y is still unknown and y is involved in this integral. So that's why this is not possible to find out the integral. So y at 0 using this equation is not possible. So let's see second equation here. Put y at 0 here in first derivative term. Y dash 0 is equals to 0 to 0, so this will be 0. Now here put y at x equal to 0, so 0 to pi sine 0, but sine 0 is 0, so that's why this integral term is 0 due to sine 0. So that's why 0 minus 0 will be 0. So y dash 0 will be 0. This is our first boundary condition. Fine. So this is written here. This is written here. Now we will find out the second boundary condition corresponding to pi. So now again start with this here. Y at pi. So 0 to pi cos t sine pi. But sine pi is 0. So this is again 0. Here pi to pi cos pi, since limit is fixed pi to pi, so this is 0. So ultimately 0 plus 0 is 0. So y at pi is 0. So second condition is corresponding to y. So y at pi is 0. So now we are having this equation with two boundary conditions. Y at pi is 0 and y dash at 0 is 0. Fine. Now, so this problem with these two integral equation is known as Sturm-Liouville problem. Now to solve this problem, because lambda is not known to you, so what we will take three possibilities. What? For example, this lambda minus 1 will be 0. Lambda minus 1 is a positive value or negative value. So positive value. So first we will put lambda minus 1 is equal to 0. First case. Second is a positive value. So that's why we are taking mu square, where mu may be positive or negative, but mu square is always positive. So we are considering the positive values. Here condition is that mu is non-zero. Because agar mu is 0, so we are getting the first case. Now the third case, when lambda minus 1 is negative value, so minus mu square, where mu is again non-zero. So we are having these three cases. So now we will discuss one by one. First, when lambda minus 1 is 0, that means lambda is 1. So we will put this lambda is equal to 1 here in the equation number 3. Put lambda equal to 1 here. So this will be 0. So we are having only second order term. Second derivative of y is equals to 0. So we will solve this problem. First integrate this, so we will get some constant, say a. Again integrate this, so yx equal to ax plus b. Now apply these two boundary conditions. To find out a and b, use these two conditions. Y at pi is 0 and y dash at 0 is 0. So after using this, what we will get? We get this. Y at pi, because at x equal to pi, y at pi is 0. So put x equal to pi here. So y at pi is equal to a pi plus b. Similarly, its first order term is this, and put x equal to 0 here. So y at 0 is a. But we know that y dash 0 is 0, y at pi is 0. These are our two boundary conditions. So when we are using this, for example this condition, so a will be 0. And now when we are using this here, so what we will get? A pi plus b, which is y pi. This is 0 because this is 0. So 0 is equal to a. A is again 0 plus b, so b is also 0. So a is 0, b is 0. When we are putting here, so y at 0. But y at x equal to 0 is a trivial solution, because we already aware about that this type of equation always has a 0 solution, and our interest is in non-zero solution, non-trivial solution. That's why lambda equal to y is not an eigenvalue, because we are having a trivial solution corresponding to this. So this is not an eigenvalue, and this is not the eigenfunction, and this is not the trivial solution. This is not the solution. Now we are taking the second case. So what is the conclusion from first part? We are having no solution from first case. तो हमें कोई solution नहीं मिला यहाँ से. Fine. Now the second case, when lambda minus 1 is mu square, where mu is non-zero. So now lambda minus 1 is replaced by mu square. So this is the equation. Fine. Now the third equation implies this equation. Now solve this differential equation. So we are having yx equal to a e raised to the power mu x plus b e raised to the power minus mu x. With the help of auxiliary equation, we are having this solution. Now differentiate this. Y at x is equal to this, because our one condition is in terms of derivative, that's why. Now we are having two equations, equation number 7 and equation number 8. Now put x equal to pi in equation number 7, so we get this. But y at pi is 0, so 0 is equal to this, so this is equation number 9. Now put x equal to 0 in equation number 8 here, so this is y at 0 is equal to a mu e raised to the power 0 minus b e raised to the b mu e raised to the power minus 0. So this will be here, because e raised to the power 0 or e raised to the power minus 0 both will be 1, so this is 0. But y at dash at 0 is 0, so this is 0. So from here, since mu is non-zero quantity, that's why this will provide you a equal to b. So now equation number 9 reduces to a e raised to the power mu pi plus a e raised to the power minus mu pi is equal to 0. Take a common, so this is so. Now we know that this quantity, this is a non-zero quantity. This is non-zero quantity always for all values of mu. So obviously this product is 0, so obviously this is non-zero quantity, so ultimately a should be 0. So this is 0, because this is non-zero quantity. So when a is 0, according to this, b is also 0. So ultimately solution will be what? A is 0, b is 0, so put 0 0, so yx will be 0. Again we are getting a trivial solution. That's why this will not give you any solution. And 1 lambda is equal, from here lambda equal to 1 plus mu square is not an eigenvalue, because you are not getting any solution. So now we are having third possibility. This is the third possibility. Lambda minus 1 equal to minus mu square, where mu is non-zero. So put it in equation number 3rd. So what we will get? We will get this equation. Solve this equation, we will get yx is equal to a cos mu x plus b sin mu x. This is equation number 10. Again differentiate this, so we get equation number 11. Put x equal to pi in equation number 10, so we get this equation, but y at pi is 0, so this is equation number 12. Now put x equal to 0 in equation number 11, so we get y dash at 0 is equal to this. But y dash at 0 is 0, so 0 is equal to this 0, because sin 0 is 0, so 0 plus b mu, cos 0 is 1. So from here b mu is 0. Now here either b is 0 or either mu is 0, but mu is non-zero quantity, so b will be 0. Fine. So when b is 0, then according to equation number 12, this quantity is 0, so a cos mu pi is 0. So here mu pi will be obviously 2n plus 1 pi by 2. This is the general solution. This is the general solution according to trigonometry. Mu pi is equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2, where n is any integer, positive integer rather, but any integer, for example, because cos is an even function, maybe positive, maybe negative. So that's why an integer. So from here mu is n plus half. So mu is this, but according to here lambda minus 1 is minus mu square. So put this value of mu here. So you will get lambda equal to 1 minus mu square. So lambda is equals to, so now here since mu depends upon n, so to show this dependency, so after substituting this value basically, because mu depends upon n, so when you are putting this value, so we are getting 1 plus n plus 1 by 2 n square, where n belongs to z. So since here we are having lambda, so and after putting this value we are getting this term here, and you can see that this is again a function of n. Whatever be the value of n, you are getting 1 plus this a value. So to show this dependency on n, basically we are using this subscript n. This is actually lambda, but to show this dependency on n, we are using this lambda n, and this is the eigenvalues. This is eigenvalues. So now we are having lambda, we are having mu, we are having b. So put b is equal to 0, mu is equal to n plus half in equation number 10. So put it here, because what is our purpose? Our purpose is to find out yx. So yx is equal to, so since again to show the dependency, because you are putting mu, which is in terms of n. So to show that dependency, again we are using n subscript here. So this is ynx is equal to, this term will be 0 because b is involved. So a cos mu x only. So a cos, but mu is n plus half. So n plus half x. So now yn is equal to a cos n plus half x. And since a is an arbitrary constant, so suppose a is 1. So whatever you will get is denoted by phi nx. In place of ynx, we are using phi nx because we are after putting a is equal to 1 here, we are getting a specific solution. That specific solution is denoted by phi nx in place of ynx. So what will we get? Cos n plus half x, and this is actually eigenfunction. So generally eigenfunction is denoted by phi rather than y, and eigenvalues are denoted by lambda n rather than lambda. Fine. So these are eigenvalues, these are corresponding eigenfunctions. So this is the solution, and this is Sturm-Liouville problem, and this is the example you can do yourself. This is the problem, this is the kernel. So you can do, this is the assignment, you can do yourself. Fine. So this is all about the Sturm-Liouville problem, and in the next video we will discuss about the Fredholm integral equation of the second kind with separable or degenerate kernel. So here we are not taking homogeneous case. In previous case, if you will remember, in previous equation, for example, say this, here there is no f of x because we are having homogeneous term. Here this is non-homogeneous, that's why f of x is here. This is the difference. So this is not homogeneous, non-homogeneous, non-homogeneous. Fine. So we will solve this. How to solve this? We will see this in the next video. Thank you.